As companies begin to use AI agents, what are the challenges they face? What impact will agentic AI have on how businesses compete? And here's the big question, how will AI agents affect the workforce? Hi, I'm James McGuire, and on today's Tech Voices, we're talking about those AI issues with a major industry leader. With me is Mihir Shukla, Chief Executive Officer of Automation Anywhere. Mihir, really good to have you with us today.
James, great to be here.
Great. All right, so let's talk about the sector of the emerging sector of agentic AI. Very hot this year. I've heard you've reached a new milestone, but tell me about that. But before we even get into that, tell me a little bit about Automation Anywhere, if you would.
Happy to. So Automation Anywhere is an AI and automation software company. We serve enterprises of every size. We today have about 5,000 plus customers globally in about 90 plus countries. And using our software platform, they make digital workers. These digital workers are the AI-powered digital workers that perform various tasks. Many of them run this autonomously. That means end-to-end with no human intervention.
Right.
While some of them they work as an assistant to the people, where a human in the loop is required. We today run about 400 million of these digital workers worldwide. So
Wow.
It's a massive, massive operation. And anybody who thinks that AI's future is yet to come, 400 million digital workers might tell you otherwise.
Mm.
We're excited to see how this industry is evolving and where it is going.
Well, I think Automation Anywhere has evolved in terms of, we used to think of it as a robotic process automation company. So maybe it still is, but now it's an agentic AI company. Or maybe those two ideas are really the same these days.
The objective is the same, isn't it? Objective is to create intelligent automation and perform things that can be automated, should be automated. Using RPA, we were able to automate about 20% of the processes. But with agentic AI, it's an entirely new ball game. What we are able to do is automate about 40 to 80% of work as we know it. And that is transformative for enterprises.
Definitely.
James, I know you mentioned, asked earlier about one of the unique milestones we reached.
Please. Yes, tell me about
Making a
that.
connection to this. A few weeks back, we were one of the media announced us as one of the 7 wonders of AI.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. And among some of the iconic other companies like NVIDIA and OpenAI and Google and Tesla and others. And the reason why they did it, I think it's a validation of everything our customers and partners are doing, because it's the work they do, which is the AI wonder in their workplaces. But what our customers were able to do is transform their organizations with this 40 to 80% of autonomous work. And that goes far beyond some of the personal productivity examples that we hear. Nothing wrong about it. We should all be using it in a personal productivity capacity. There is so much more an enterprise can achieve out of it. And some of those personal productivity tools are sometimes designed to keep you in your silos versus reimagining how AI could happen and across enterprises. And so it was exciting to be featured among some of the companies and great customer stories that made it possible.
Great. Well, put that in larger perspective. If I'm the CIO of an organization, what does this mean, this kind of automation? How should I approach this?
I think if you're a CIO of an organization, you are bombarded by 100, if not thousands of companies telling you what they could do with AI. And they're all good ideas. But as a CIO, you probably want to think where the biggest return is. Because if you do some of the first 2 or 3 projects well, it has the capability to fund virtually all other projects. Take an example of one of our customers, Petrobras. They saved $120 million in 3 weeks. First of all, that's remarkable.
It is remarkable.
To achieve in 3 weeks to have that kind of an impact. But from that point on, there wasn't a discussion about ROI. you can implement so many more AI projects. So if I'm a CIO, I would say where are the biggest return? And one of the things Automation Anywhere offers CIO is a hotspot analysis of everything that is possible with returns and see where the biggest returns are and understanding that viewpoint across entire organization. Knowing art of the possible and choosing the sequence in which to go about it
Mhm.
is arguably the most important thing I think in today's world. Otherwise, there's so much to do. Um,
Well, interesting about the Petrobras and the money they saved. Was that from workforce savings? Was it, automated work, efficiency? How did they save that kind of money? It's a huge sum.
It is a use sum. It is one of those things that until it became real, you wouldn't think it is possible.
Hmm.
And but So the Petrobras uses us in various functions in finance and HR and accounting and various supply chain and many other areas.
Hmm.
But in one of the areas they were looking at was tax calculation. And
Aha.
Petrobras pays about $64 billion in taxes, a very large company, and a very complicated tax codes in Brazil. So we took on a challenge to see if we could create an autonomous enterprise out of the tax operation because
Hmm.
it's a set of rules, very complicated rules, 180,000 pages worth of rules. Still, there are rules.
Hmm.
And so we said, we fed all those rules to an LLM model, and then using our process reasoning engine, which is our secret sauce, we could talk about it later.
Uh-huh.
We applied those tax rules to thousands of Petrobras transactions, recomputed taxes, and saved $100 million just in tax calculation alone.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Say no more taxes. That's a big topic.
I jokingly tell people that I always believed calculating taxes was not a human job. Now I could prove it.
Well, that's really true. Let's talk about challenges of agentic AI. I mean, in particular, it seems like integrating the agents into a company's existing workflow is difficult. I mean, here's the large language model, here's the agent. You've got to feed data between them. What do you think about integration, or what do you think about challenges in general for agentic AI?
Ah, That's a great question, James. I think I mentioned the first challenge is to figure out which problems to solve among all others. We talked about it. I think the second one is to integrate the workflows, as you rightly pointed out. I think without a platform like ours, customers have that big challenge because they have plethora of applications, sometimes thousands of them. Some of them are in cloud, some of them are on premise, and workflows go between all of them. And LLM models, as amazing as they are like the encyclopedia of knowledge, but
Right.
that's not same as enterprise work, right? And so how does those two different things come together? And so a platform like ours, what it enables is using process reasoning engine. It brings the enterprise mindset to the entire work being done with governance and auditability and security. We trained this model on 400 million data points, so it's a remarkable piece of technology.
Hmm.
It has surpassed our own expectations. And then using various technologies, AI agents and RPA and API and few other three-letter acronyms,
Hmm.
we have an ability to integrate into every single workflow and applications that organization has. And that is where rubber meets the road of enterprise reality and the way we could make that happen. But you rightly said, without a platform like ours, that's the biggest challenge enterprises face today to deploy LLMs.
So you talked about the process reasoning engine. It combines automation with real-time decision making, so it's actually making decisions.
That's correct. It's a piece of technology that we started working on more than 3 years ago. Our hypothesis back then was, we have arguably the world's largest metadata about how work happens,
Hmm.
and we said, could we train a reasoning engine? And what Let me define it. What it does is it uses LLM's general knowledge, but then it looks at regulatory environment, it looks at companies' data, it looks at
Hmm.
If it's specific to a customer, then it looks at the customer's past data and six other things. And then it tries to reason and say, at this point in time, what is the right next step to take?
Hmm.
Now, this, in a sense, James, is what a worker we do every day at work, right? For this point in time, what do I do? And this process reasoning engine tries to do that, and it got eventually so sophisticated that now it is able to run and create end-to-end workflows in an enterprise in a way that was unimaginable maybe 6 months ago.
Hmm.
So it's a remarkable piece of technology that, to our knowledge, we are the only one to offer it. But it is the foundation of how in future all enterprise work.
Well, I think that brings us to really the big question, which is, how do you think agentic AI will ultimately impact business bottom line? I mean, do you think that we'll see a really reduced employee count, considering that this engine is making decisions?
That's $1 million question, isn't it? All of
It's a
our
big question, right? It's a
That's in
societal question.
all of our minds. So I think the without a doubt, the future of work, what we do today, 40 to 80% can be automated, and in
Hmm.
many cases, it will be automated with a platform like ours. So your question about workforce, it changes based on your viewpoint. Do you think the current world is the best world you can imagine?
Hmm.
And these are all the ideas we have today are all the ideas we have? Then it will impact workforce because the technology will make things better, faster, cheaper. It always does. And if this is all there is to it, it will happen with less people. For the sake of our children, I hope this is not the best world we can imagine. And I
Hmm.
hope we are not out of ideas. And
Interesting.
there is much more we should be able to do. And that's where the growth of new jobs will come from. To
You're
ground
saying
this
that.
in a specific example, take an example of a bank today. Most banks today can serve about 15% of the population because that's all they can afford to serve with the risk and cost structure they have.
Mhm.
Can you imagine a business that cannot serve 85% of the population?
Hmm.
And imagine what could happen if you double your market size. And now with help of AI, you could serve double the population. There are many more ideas that we should explore, and they're out there.
Well, I guess on that note, it's really good to go ahead and look to the future. If we think, a few years down the line, what do you see happening with agentic AI? I mean, you've drawn sort of a portrait. Look a few more years down the line, some milestones we can expect.
We think there are unbelievable possibilities, but they are real. So about 2 months back, we achieved a very unique milestone on a technology front in artificial intelligence. Let me put that in context, and so that I'll describe where we are, and that will set the tone for what you could see in the future.
Hmm.
We always had this vision of making work very entertaining and fun and not the drudgery. And so we envision where you can talk to a computer and ask it to do complex work, and it happens at a speed of the command. Wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't it be great if instead of something taking 8 hours, it just happens right away?
Hmm.
And we think that we all of us have seen this in science fiction movies, and we find it very entertaining and fun. Pick your favorite science fiction movie, but take an example of a Star Trek. When a captain says, "Computer reconfigure deflector shield and something else," you don't see a developer coming to a captain and saying, "Captain, what you just said takes 6 months."
True. I've never seen that.
IT doesn't come and say that that's 2 more months of provisioning and something else.
Sure.
Instead, work happens right away. And we find that entertaining. We watch Captain work because it's fun to watch Captain work, and that's it. Imagine somebody watching us work
Hmm.
as much fun.
Hmm.
So we had this vision, and 2 months ago we reached a point. I mentioned we were training this process reasoning engine with 400 million data points, it 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 fundamentally figured out the basic components of work. And so at this point, we can tell that reasoning engine to perform any complex work, and in a matter of milliseconds, it can dynamically create a most optimized workflow that you could imagine,
Hmm.
uh, and has an ability to execute it right away. And so today we just by just simply talking to computer, we can do thousands of processes like that. The next version of our process reasoning engine will do tens of thousands of processes.
Mm.
The one after that will do millions, right?
Right.
But to your question, yes, I'm setting it up and say the time for work to be entertaining and fun is the future of work. And
Hmm.
it is closer than we think. It might take us a while before we trust it, like most technologies, but it is here and now, and it is accelerating.
Well, I guess it raises a last question that's so it frees us up from less work, but it means it really puts a lot of pressure on human creativity. So the question is, what will we do if it's doing all that? And the other question is, we really have to be far more creative and enlightened than we are now, perhaps.
You're right. We have to. I also think that the way we work is the fundamentals of how we are organized is about the same since World War II,
Hmm.
where we are organized by distinct capabilities or skill set and their departments, and those
Hmm.
departments, are good at doing one or two or three things very well. Um, as capabilities are available from AI, we need to rethink if we are organized right. Imagine if you are an SDR, a sales development representative. Now you have an AI SDR that can do that work. And so, what does that mean? I think the future of how we should be organized is based on outcome and say, what are we trying to achieve? And can we organize teams not by capabilities, but by outcome?
Hmm.
And in doing so, we will unleash the human potential because I know we are amazing at various capabilities, but even more than that, what we are amazing about is setting right goals and asking right questions and achieving unimaginable things,
Hmm.
going to the moons and Mars and many other things,
Hmm.
um, curing diseases and
Right.
solving poverty, and could be anything. Um, and that will unleash our true potential. Uh, we could be about more than processing invoices or processing mortgages. I have no doubt.
We'll hope so. Here, thank you so much for sharing your expertise today. Really fascinating, and hope we get to speak again sometime.
It was my pleasure, James. Good to see you.